everyone, it's Darby with rejoiceandcreate.com, and Christmas 2017 is quickly coming to an end, but we have a few more projects to go, and one of them I wanted to share was a gift card holder. And a lot of the gift cards you'll get will be this size, and there are beautiful gift cards out there. I've done a couple videos myself which would be gift card holders. But if you are the parent or the friend of a gamer, someone who likes video games, then your gift cards that you're giving might be this size. And these are a bit bigger and won't fit in the standard size gift card holder. So I have made a special one for them, and this is what I came up with. It's Deck the Halls, the game, which these two wonderful little snowmen are playing with their little Xbox controllers. And inside you'll have a pocket that's big enough for this gift card. Now these gift cards, the ones that you'll find for some of the video games, and there's a few other ones as well that are about this size, but they are, let's see, almost 5 inches long by about 3.5 inches wide. And I made a pocket so it'll fit right in there. And of course a little layered oval to enjoy it. And two wonderful snowmen playing their little video game called Deck the Halls. So I thought this was cute, and I wanted to show you how I made this one. Alright, so you start with a piece of cardstock that is 12 inches by 5.5 inches. And I made it 5.5 inches so it will actually fit into a standard A2 envelope. So it's 5.5 by 12 inches. For the video screen, which is Whisper White, and I used the Deck the Halls stamp from the Carols of Christmas. For the outline, I used Night of Navy, and I thought I'd use a piece of crumb cake for the outside of the console. Of course, for the two little snowmen, I used a piece of Whisper White, and I used the Seasonal Chums stamp set. For that, for the front mat, I used a piece of Whisper White that was 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and I ran it through, I don't know if you can see that, I ran it through the Softly Falling embossing folder, and I just thought that made a nice little snow texture. That's not necessary, but I thought it made a cute little background. And then for the inside, I used a piece of Whisper White. And for the layered scalloped oval, I used Night of Navy on my first one, but I'm going to use gray for this one. Now for these two little controllers, that was a little challenge for me. I was looking around to find something that would fit it. If you're not familiar with it, this is what an Xbox controller looks like. And I wanted something that had this kind of a trapezoid type of look that you can modify for it. And the one thing I came out with was, let me leave that there for a moment. One thing I came out with was actually the pansy punch, because it gave me the right size, and I could use one of these little pansy petals and kind of modify it into the game controller that the snowmen are playing with. So I'll show you how I did that one. Alright, so let me clear everything off and we'll get going. Alright, so the first thing let's go ahead and prepare our card. I took the 12-inch long and 5.5-inch wide cardstock, and I scored it at 4 1/4 and at 8.5. And that gives me essentially what is an A2 card with a pocket. Alright, now what I did is I used my pocket for the bottom half because my card was horizontal and it stood up like this. But what I did is I punched a little bit of a finger hold for it, and I used my pretty label punch to do that. What I did was I just lined it up halfway across the punch and kind of eyeballed it from side to side to get it in the middle. And that allows a little finger hold for you to get your card in and out of. Alright, so I found my gift card, and if you can see, the gift card is 5 inches long and the card is 5.5 inches long. So if you use the tear and tape, which is actually slightly bigger than 1/4 inch, it actually might constrict this too much and be too tight for the card to get into. So I'd recommend doing either a very thin line of Tombow, or what I did is I pulled out my 1/8 inch score tape. I know as crafters we have all kinds of different projects that we do, and I used a lot of different adhesives. And sometimes this 1/8 of an inch wide just comes very handy for me. But if you don't have it, you certainly could use the Tombow and just make a very thin line right along the edge. And that will give you enough room to get your gift card into. All right, so let me get that peeled off. And fold it over. And that 1/8 of an inch gives me enough room so I can get the gift card in. All right. If you glue it with the Tombow, put something on it and set aside so it gets a really good seal on it. All right, so the next thing we'll do is actually make our little snowmen. I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock and I have some Smoky Slate ink, and I'm going to stamp my little snowman tag in there. All right, let me get this out of the way. I used the front of the snowman for one of the little game players, and I actually used the back of the snowman, which is a mirror image because it's a tag, for the other one. So let me cut those out with the framelits. All right, so here is my snowman, which would normally be a tag, but because they are a tag and they're opposite each other, they're actually mirror images of each other. So what I did is I just fussy cut apart on the top where they met to make them two individual snowmen. So there's my one player, and I'll cut off the loop this time and just cut around the hat. There's my other player. Now you notice my second player doesn't have any facial features. So I used a marker, and this happens to be the Smoky Slate marker, and I used the narrow tip to it to actually draw him eyes and nose. So let me go ahead and draw him 2 eyes. And I'm going to draw him a carrot for the nose. And then a nice little smiley face. Now I didn't draw buttons on this one, but you're more than welcome to draw buttons on it if you want to. Let me make the little carrot things there. The last one was the little bunny rabbit, and I just went ahead and drew it like this. And let me go ahead and put some eyes and nose on him too, to make him look like he's the front of the bunny. So now it looks like I have 2 different snowmen looking at each other like they're playing a video game. So I finished coloring my 2 little snowmen in, and now I'm going to make the little controllers that appear in their hands. And as I mentioned, the shape I found that was closest to what I wanted was actually one of the petals from the Pansy Punch. So I punched it out of basic gray, and I took a pair of scissors. Let me bring the actual controller in so you can see what I'm going for. And I looked for one that was fairly close. I think that one looks pretty good for a start. So I just cut in and extended those 2 petals, and I kind of cut across the top like that. So now I have one of the petals off, and if you notice it has kind of an angular cut, so what I did is I just, from the side, cut up both of the sides at an angle, and then just join those 2 cuts at the top. See if I can get it right across. And that gives me one of the what looks like a controller. So let me go ahead and cut another one out. I took the basic gray marker, or you can use any black or dark gray marker, and I actually drew some of the controls that were on there. So for the Xbox controller, there's actually like a plus sign controller over there, and there's a joystick on this side. There's another joystick over here as well. So I did a circle on there. There's 2 little dots there, and then there's the ABXY controllers on the side in a diamond formation. And that makes it look like an Xbox controller. So let me go ahead and do the other one. Alright, so now I have 2 controllers for their video games. And let's go ahead and make this green next. Alright, so my snowmen are playing Deck the Halls the game, which apparently is a wonderful holiday game for snowmen to be playing. Alright, so let's go ahead and stamp our Deck the Halls, and my Pool Party ink pad is running out of ink, so let's see if I can squeeze out a little bit more. Okay, that will work. And I just simply stamped the game underneath it, because of course we know that Deck the Halls is a video game. And on this one I used Night of Navy for the game because my frame, the outline of the console screen, was Night of Navy. Because I'm using crumb cake for this one, I think I'll go ahead and use crumb cake ink. And I'm using the labeler alphabet. And I'll just go ahead and stamp that. And when I'm stamping a lot of words out, what I like to do is just to put them on the corners of one of my square stamps so I can just use them one at a time and I don't have to keep taking them off and putting them on. Alright, so I'm going to stamp the game, and let me move it a little bit closer so I can see it. And because the G is right in the middle of the game, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that one first. Right under the L for the hulls. Now I have Deck the Halls, the game, and I'm going to use, I think it's the second largest of the layering squares. Yes, and I'll cut that out and we'll be right back. Alright, so now that we have all our pieces, let's go ahead and put them all together. Here's my crumb cake piece for my console, and that was 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, the same as the Night of Navy piece. Here's my Deck the Halls, the video game, and before I put that on, I'm going to go ahead and round the corners like most of the screens are. Alright, so let me go ahead and adhere this, and you could use whatever glue that you want, Tombow, snail, or the fast fuse. So let's go ahead and adhere that in the middle. Alright, let me move this one out of the way a little bit. And here's my pool party card. Let me make sure I have it the right way. So we're going to go ahead and adhere the matte layer. So this is the Whisper White, that's 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that one with some Tombow. Because it kind of gets, with the embossing, it kind of gets down into the crannies and stuff, or it gets where it needs to be. Alright, so there's our background. I think the softly falling just gives it a nice snowy look. So let's go ahead and adhere our Deck the Halls, the game on there, and I'm also going to use some Tombow for that. So I'll hopefully get in the nooks and crannies. And I put it kind of in the center towards the top because that's where they'd be looking at the screen. Move it down a little bit. And move it over a little bit. There we go. Alright, let me hold that down for a moment and bring back our little guys. And their controllers. So I used some dimensionals to get the snowman up. And what I did was I used a few big dimensionals on their body, and then for each of their mitten hands I used a smaller dimensional. Alright, and now I just arranged them so they were looking at the screen. So this one was looking this way. And his counterpart was looking this way. And I just used a glue dot to put the controller in their hand. Where are my glue dots? Over there. Oh, I'm running out. I've got 2 left, and I used them to the very end. Alright, so let me put it on this side for his. And I'll angle it so he's got it holding in his hand. And let me put it on the other side for the other one. And that officially ends my glue dots. I have to get some more. Alright, so the front of it's done. And let's go ahead and I just put a sentiment on the inside, and I just cut out the layering oval, scalloped oval, and here's my enjoy. And let me go ahead and glue that on. And my Tombow's nearby, so I'll use that. And I kind of centered it right below the cutout, right in the middle. And here's the Blizzard Entertainment gift card, or it could be the Roblox or any of the other gaming gift cards. And there's our project, a gaming gift card holder with 2 of our snowmen playing a friendly but intense game of Deck the Halls, the game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the project, and I hope you give it a try. If you need to have a bigger gift card holder, certainly you could tuck some other things in there as well. Money would work as well. So I hope you enjoyed the project today, and I hope you find it useful. If you need any more information, please go to rejoiceandcreate.com. And until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!